What's good, trader and investor homies? It's your boy Kevin from Touchdown Trades, your trading BFF, your stock market bestie. We got some big, gigantic news regarding Hyliion stock, SHLL, and the merger. We're going to be breaking down the news in today's video, and towards the end of the video, I'm going to be putting my price target on Hyliion post-merger. The market has been volatile. Tesla has sold off big, but Hyliion, SHLL is still holding up. So what is the deal? We're going to be breaking down some news. We're going to be putting a price target on this Hyliion, and we're going to be doing some technical analysis as well. So stay tuned and let's get it. Alright, trader homies, let's get right into this breaking Hyliion SHLL news. We got some major news to go over today, but before we do, these videos do take me quite a while to make. I put a ton of research, due diligence, and time into these videos, so the only thing I want from you guys is an early like, and at the end of the video, if you feel like you got something from it, consider subscribing. Alright, so first, before we get into the breaking news, let's break down this Hyliion chart and see what it's been doing over the last couple weeks. We have the Tesla chart to the right. Tesla, the leader of the EV sector, has sold off hard. It is off 20% of the highs. But Hyliion, over that same time frame, has actually gone up. Hyliion is stronger than the leader of the EV sector. The market has also been extremely volatile and weak and has came off the highs as well. But Hyliion has held up and is still trading towards all-time highs, which is really good to see because it's showing us that this Hyliion pre-merger SHLL, it's still considered toward its acquisition, but the merger, we'll get more into that. There is a date that has been set for the vote, so I'm just going to be referring to it as Hyliion, as I expect the merger to go through no problem. Hyliion is still holding up towards all-time highs. It is stronger than the overall market, and it is stronger than the leader of the EV sector, being Tesla. So this is really good news as it's holding these levels. Got a Yahoo Finance article pulled up. Breaking news, there's going to be a vote on the merger on September 28th. That does not mean that the merger is automatically going to go through, or that it's going to go through if they pass it on September 28th. It could go through after a couple days after September 28th, or a week or so, or maybe even 2 weeks. But it doesn't matter. We got a vote. We got a date. We'll go over the SEC filing in depth in just a second. Let's just talk about the date and what that means. So them putting a date on the merger vote doesn't necessarily mean that the merger is going to go through, even though I expect it to go through. And I think the percentages, if I was to put odds on it, I would say 99% that it goes through, 1% that it doesn't. Also, even though they're voting on September 28th, even though they're voting on it September 28th, it doesn't mean that if it passes, the ticker's going to change that next day. So even if it passes, you still may see your shares on your trading or investing account on your platform still may say SHLL for maybe a week or 2 weeks after the vote. Let's go over the SEC filing form that sets the date of September 28th. This is a form DEFM14A. So tongue twister there. It's a defiant proxy statement relating to the merger or acquisition. So the merger being SHLL and Hyliion merging into one company. Here's where we get into the meat of the SEC filing, and it's basically an invitation for stockholders to come vote on the merger and other bulletin points that they're going to be voting on September 28th. It says you are cordially invited to attend the special meeting of stockholders of Tortoise Acquisition Corp., which will be held at 9:30 a.m. Eastern on September 28th. So there we get the date. We got the website, the link right there. So you can, if you're a SHLL shareholder as I am, you can visit that link to watch the meeting at 9:30 a.m. Eastern on September 28th. And here we have the bulletins that they are going to be voting on September 28th. The most important being the first one, the only one that I really care about. It says, the business combination proposal, to consider and vote upon a proposal to approve and adopt the business combination agreement and plan of reorganization. dated as of June 18th, 2020. Among Tortoise Corp, SHLL Merger Sub Inc., a Delaware corporation, and a wholly owned subsidiary of Tortoise Corp. And Hyliion Inc., aka the Hyliion SHLL merger. So it looks like they're going to be voting on this first on September 28th. So I will definitely be tuning in and watching this meeting live. We also got some other proposals and bulletins that we'll be voting on, but nothing really important. My main interest, and I'm sure you guys' main interest, will be the merger. Here's another proposal that's kind of interesting. The New York Stock Exchange proposal. It says to consider and vote upon a proposal to approve for purposes of complying with applicable listing rules of the New York Stock Exchange. The issuance reservation for issuance of in respect of certain options issued in exchange for outstanding pre-merger Hyliion options. There's a bunch of directors, CEOs that have Hyliion shares, even though it's private. So that's going to have to get transformed after the merger into a different kind of format. So even though they own whatever, the CEO may own 5 million shares of Hyliion, that's going to change to reflect the post-merger pricing and evaluation of the overall company. So that's kind of interesting, and I'll be watching that on September 28th as well. It the main point is that September 28th, we finally got a date where there's going to be a vote, and after September 28th, after it passes, as I expect it will, we're going to be waiting for our shares, the name on our shares to change tickers, which is absolutely gigantic news. All right, so let's jump in, and I'm going to put a price target on this Hyliion. So we don't really have any numbers to base a price target on. So I'm going to look at future expectations and history of other EV companies that have merged via a SPAC like Hyliion's doing. So first, let's look at this presentation from Hyliion and Tortoise, the last ER. So we can see that they're forward-looking earnings. We have 2020, 2021. So basically all the way until 2021, they're just going to be in the developmental phase and not really manufacturing that many vehicles or selling that many vehicles, which is okay as long as they stay on track. And then when we get into 2022, things are going to be really starting to pick up, and they expect to sell 4,000 fully electric units sold that year, and 2,500 of the ERX units. And then we get into 2023, 8,000 and 8,500. And then we get into 2024, we got big numbers coming in. So if these numbers do hold steady, as I expect they will, I think we're looking at a pretty hefty price target with this Hyliion stock. People say, well, who are they going to sell these trucks to? Who's going to buy these big trucks? And we got a list. People say, who's going to buy these big trucks? Who's really going to buy these big EV trucks? And they do have a list of prospective customers who they are currently targeting as customers. We got Walmart, Amazon, UPS, Pepsi, Ryder, Coke, FedEx, all the big companies in the world. Hyliion is going to be targeting these companies, and Hyliion being the only really big Class 8 truck manufacturer that is offering a bridge to total electric, because Hyliion trucks have that fallback of the natural gas, it allows them to bridge into total electric. And I think these companies will be very interested in doing business with Hyliion. So let's jump into the charts, and I'll try to put a price target and where I think this thing's going to go post-merger. People seem to forget that we do have a very, very similar merger that happened just a couple months ago that we can look at for prior, because the stock market does tend to repeat itself. So if we look at the history of these type of mergers, we can kind of get an idea of what may happen with this SHLL and Hyliion merger and where the stock price may go. And that stock that merged just a couple months ago was VTIQ, and Nikola merged to make this Nikola Corporation a publicly traded company via a SPAC. The same thing that SHLL and Hyliion are doing. That happened right back here on June the 3rd. So right there is the day where the merger closed. And look what happened just the next couple weeks after the merger, it more than doubled in price. So could we see the same thing with this Hyliion and SHLL merger? I think absolutely we could. So let's look at the SHLL chart and we'll talk about where the stock price could go post-merger. We are currently trading at $50 a share. It has went up substantially since the news of the merger, obviously, and it has made a really nice move. People say this, oh, I'm scared to buy it. It just made such a huge move. It's trading at $50 a share. I don't know if it's too expensive or if I can buy it at these levels. And what I say is it's going to have a market cap of just north of $1 billion. Nikola has a market cap of like $14 billion. So this is trading at a valuation of 1/14 of Nikola, and I firmly believe this is a better company than Nikola, and it has way more potential than Nikola. Nikola's not going to have a Class 8 truck ready for years. There's news coming out today that Nikola is just a big fraud and that Nikola is a scam. I'm not saying it's true, but I think Hyliion and the bridge that they're going to use to get to full EV, and that the natural gas bridge that is going to allow them to gain traction in the industry and get customers quicker than a company like Nikola going to straight to full EV. So I think this Hyliion, the potential is huge, and I think the potential for this thing to be trading at $100 a couple months after the merger is absolutely realistic. So I'm putting a price target of $80 per share 2 months after the merger, and I think that is a pretty conservative price target. I do think there could be a little bit of selling after the merger just to kind of buy the news, sell the rumor effect. However, I think it will get bought up and head back higher. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up this video. I hope y'all got something from it. If you did, smash the like button for me. Subscribe if you haven't done so yet. Hit the notification bell, and I'll catch all of you guys in the next video. Peace.
Drop.